Hi, my name is Marigol Era. I'm the Self Mastery Witch, and you're listening to Come Full Cycle, a podcast that bridges the gap between fierce ambition and profound spirituality. I welcome you, dreamers, endurers, trailblazers, and world changers. I have rebranded this podcast 3 times already, and I just made a 9 month detour with another project called Sacred and Sassy. I believe that it is always possible to rebirth ourselves from our ashes and come back with new insights, new skills, and more depth. On Come Full Cycle, we're reclaiming the 13 moon calendar by posting an interview every full moon and an inward diving on each new moon. Each episode offers you practical and spiritual insights into crafting a life of self mastery, self expression, and deep connection with your cycles. There's also going to be surprise episodes sometimes when I feel like it on the waxing and or the waning moons. It's time. You're ready to trade burnout for sustainable brilliance and step into your full cyclical power. So grab yourself something to drink, get cozy, and let's come full cycle. Hello, dreamers and doers. I am so happy to be back with you with this new era of this podcast that is now called Come Full Cycle. So, in this episode, I'll circle back to where it all began and I'll talk about what's in store for this new era, Come Full Cycle. And I decided to create this episode because, I didn't want to do a big trailer and a big launch, and it's all like doing things differently for this phase. So I'm very excited about it. It's the best way to actually explain to you guys what's happening than to do like a whole trailer and everything. Okay, so I've been creating podcasts for the past 3 years already. How crazy times just flies. It all started with let's create the revolution together, which was such a blast. So I don't know if you guys remember, maybe some of you were there with me at the beginning. So at that time, I wanted to bring people together. That was like the idea. And I wanted to hear their stories and I wanted to be reaching out to the people that are thinking outside the box. I had absolutely no clue on what I was doing. Zero. Like when I say zero, it's like full on zero. I was feeling 100% on my intuition. I had no podcasting skills, barely no social media skills, to be honest. I was fully trailblazing a path I didn't know where it would lead me at all, like zero. It all started very abruptly when I decided to just go on Facebook and ask if people would be interested in telling me their story on my new podcast. And just for your information, at the time that I did that post, I had nothing done around that project. Like nothing. It was the first step. It was just like the first step. I had no branding, no topic, no like it was just like a thought and an intuition. And it was just like telling me you need to go and do a podcast. And so I just did that. How crazy, right? And guess what? When you follow your intuition, that's what happened. I had over 100 beautiful beings who contacted me, and I decided to start a meeting with them, and that was the start of the project. I had so much fun. I'm such an extrovert, and so meeting with people and like that was a project and I was up in the cloud, like I was loving it. Everything about it. It fed my soul. And at the same time, at one point I got super overwhelmed and my fear started to kick in and just like knocking at my door. And I was terrified to be overbooked because if I wasn't going to be able to bring the quality that I wanted to bring into that project. As a high achiever, I had high standard. So I think my warrior was kind of weak and my saboteur was very strong. And I had really a lot of trouble putting healthy boundaries in this project, and particularly in my professional life, which was basically non-existent because for the past years I've been a stay-at-home mom, and although it is a job and it's not a career. Okay. So putting myself out there and just like being there was just like very new to me. And my all the shadows were there, just like, oh, this is not gonna work and blah blah blah, right? And I wanted to honor the people that were coming on my show. I wanted to honor them so much. And I wanted to create a space that would be nurturing for them so that they can share their stories and so that we can share that with the world and open minds to what's actually possible out there when we're stuck in the mainstream and there's this route and we just keep on going in something that doesn't necessarily make sense, but this is what we're supposed to do, right? And so I wanted to open minds around that. So I have learned so much in that first cycle of my podcasting journey. And I'm internally grateful for this first part of the project. That was such a learning curve. And yeah, I wouldn't be here without that. So this is where I created the foundation of what I'm doing right now. So there are absolutely no mistakes and only experiences and teachable moment for sure. Okay, so as I was losing momentum, because when fear kicks in, if you listen to those fear, it's just like gonna slow down your process. And that's what happened. And I decided that I was gonna bring more of myself in the production of the podcast and put more healthy boundaries, solidifying my structure and my content. I decided to create another version. And this second version was supposed to be more aligned with myself. I had this clear vision. And so yeah, so that's the second part of this journey. That's when I shifted to Shakti's gift. So I did the whole rebrand, like the artwork, there was the lunch party. I had friends creating the music for the trailer and the intro and the outro. And we went live on Facebook. There were so many people there. I was hyped. I was like, you know, this is like, yes, I'm back on track. This is happening. This is so cool. And so I always loved the story of Shakti and her energy. And that's why I call this next phase Shakti's gift. It was because I wanted to bring the feminine energy, the feminine power, the motherhood, and the fierceness, and seeing that as a gift and seeing the chaos and the destruction and the struggle of motherhood and everything around that as a gift. That's so funny to think of it. I still think like that at this moment. I felt at this time that it was my moment to show the world what I could offer as an Ayurvedic wellness coach. So it's important to know, you guys, that at this point, people were not really aware that I was an Ayurvedic wellness coach because I was never promoting that. I was never promoting myself as an Ayurvedic wellness coach, and I was mostly promoting other people's work. And so that's like that was the second phase. It was like, oh, I need to promote myself if I want to make money, if I want to actually help the world and create a coaching business. So yeah, so I wanted to put that forward because I studied a feminine form of Ayurveda in 2020 and I loved it. And I always felt like it wasn't right for me to guide people in their health I always thought that I did this program just for myself and because I'm a huge geek regarding my own health and my body and my wellness. And it's just like something that interests me and that fascinates me how our bodies can work the way they work and everything just has a reason why it's there and everything is connected. And so I feel like, I don't know, I just love geeking around that. And also at the time, so it was before the pandemic, but I was already just not believing in the health and medical system that's offered in our society. It's been a long time since I don't believe in that system. But in 2020, it felt like I needed to have a little bit more knowledge so that I can help myself, help my body get more healthy at that moment, and also my kids and my family, my direct circle. So that's fully the reason why I did that program. Like my intention was never to actually put myself out there with that. And there's something that scares me around that. There's so much that I don't know about the body. There's so many components that I don't like. It's very personal. So for me, it was really personal and it was really for me. But I thought I have the degree, I have the freaking certification, which is on my wall up there that you don't see it, but it's there. I was like, well, I have the certification, so there must be a reason. And I should put myself out there with that. But oh my God, there was so much pressure. There was so much pressure to show up online with something to sell. And in my head, I was not certified in anything other than the Ayurvedic thing. So, of course, like people didn't resonate with that at all. And I don't feel like I could bring the confidence in that knowledge to actually help people. And I did help a lot of people and I did consultation and but there was always this weird moment where I felt this fear of like not helping them but actually hurting them. And so I just because there's such a delicate balance and I'm not like certified as a health professional but as a wellness professional and so the difference was there. So anyway, the fact that I didn't have confidence pulled people away, I feel like. And that's okay. That's fully normal. And energy is energy is energy is energy. And so the energy that I was putting in was also reflected back to me, of course. And so as there were so many fears and they were fully like clawing on my soul, it was so crazy. I felt like such an imposter to actually promote myself as somebody who knows Ayurveda. And so that led me to actually listen to that imposter, which led me to buy another program to become an intuitive life coach. Just so you know, before I go into this part, I'm a trained special educator, social worker, and a psychosociologist. But in my mind, I really needed another degree as an intuitive life coach because I wasn't certified as a coach. To be real, that was the worst money that I've ever spent in my whole life. Oh my God. Like it was a 6K down the drain. Like I could have just took that money, throw it out the window, and that would have been the same freaking result, which is crazy. Because all the skills that were taught in that program, I already had. Like I was like going through the curriculum and I was like, why the fuck am I here? Because I know this. I work like this. Like I already put these in my practice. I was just like, what the hell am I doing here? Right. And so I thought, well, maybe what we're going to learn about intuition is going to be why I purchased this class. But it was so basic that didn't connect me with my deeper intuition. I'm a very intuitive person. And so that was just a little too basic for me. And so at that point, I was like, fuck that shit. I'm not a coach. This is over. And I just wanted to focus on my podcast because podcasting is like really something that I love to do. I just love to be in front of you guys. I love interviewing people and meeting people and interacting. Like this is where I really enjoy my professional life. Collaborating with people is really creative for me. So that's what I wanted to do. And that's when we created Sacred and Sassy with my colleague Yana. And that project just ended because it was not aligned for this other person. And I just didn't have the heart to continue that just by myself. It was just not the purpose. And so that's why I'm here with you right now. And even though at first I was crushed by this end, I was like, oh my God, fuck, like another project that's not working. And I felt like I was failing. It was really hard. There was a lot of grieving to be done around that. And after a lot, and I say a lot, I'm not like kidding, a lot of sleepless night doing shadow work, a lot of journaling, a lot of meditation, soul searching, and just like integrating really all the shadows around that. I realized that nothing is lost at all. Nothing at all. Those three previous projects helped me build so much confidence as a podcaster, my skills for interviewing people, editing, my branding, the way I promote the podcast, the messaging, my presence. I have met so many amazing beings through this whole journey. It's all important information gathered over the three past years. And so now I'm standing, well, I'm sitting, well, not standing, but I'm standing before you. And I hold my head high for everything that I built over these past 3 years and these three projects. There's no shame in starting over, realigning ourselves, and mostly going through the depth of our darkness to come back up stronger. I used to be ashamed of my way of changing direction, you know. I was like, oh, so I'm doing this, and then, oh no, I'm doing this, and then, oh no, I'm doing this. And I felt so much shame, and I felt like I wasn't somebody you can trust because of that. But in the end, like, this is the process. And this is the way I learned creating those projects and being able to stand before you and be there and just like honoring the fact that this is the way I learn and this has value is just so powerful. And in the end, it was always the same direction. It's always the same thing. It's just refining itself and just honing in. So it was always about bringing people that wants to see this world change, that wants to create something different. Like this podcast has always been for the people that see that this isn't working and that wants to create something, that don't want to just like sit their ass on their couches and just complain about all the wrong things in the world, but actually create something. And we can get caught up into either one of those, like being a couch potato and just doing nothing, and sometimes just overdoing stuff because there's so much to do, right? So the podcast was always going in the same direction. And even though the Ayurveda is not maybe my main thing, wellness is, and it's a crucial part of this taking care of ourselves. We need to do this if we want to carry a new world out there. Like, there's no way we can do this if we're not healthy, if we're not like in a right state of mind, and if we're just like crumbling under diseases and stuff. Like, this isn't going to work. And so it's all part of it, right? So I really see all those versions as a spiraling up instead of a running in circle kind of matter. And this project is the new version of this. It's all the same, but it's the new version. It's the upgraded the 4.0, if we can say. And I really fully welcome this new stage with joy and love. And I'm super psyched to be here. Okay, so what's new and what's up with this new project? So, Come Full Cycle is the fourth phase of this journey, and it is much more grounded. I feel much more confident in myself, and I know who I am here to serve. And I choose to use this platform, the podcast, to actually gather people who want their life to shift for the better. I want to work with people. I want to talk with people. I want to be there for the people that wants to see this world change. And so I have two coming out to do. So the first one is the witch. So for some of you, maybe you already know, but I also have a TikTok account right now that it's called the Self Mastery Witch. And so the last episode we published on Sacred and Sassy was an interview with my dear friend Cheryl Catano, who was in all the previous version of the podcast. So hopefully she's gonna come on this one as well. I'm putting this in the universe. So yeah, so that last episode is about the witch wound and all kinds of witchery. And I'm gonna link that episode down below because it's one to actually watch. It was all of the Secret and Sassy's episodes are all great. This one just touched my soul in such a way because for me it was like I needed to reclaim that witch. I've always identified as a witch, like when we were kids. I don't know, like people that are my age and were reading magazines, there was like those little tests, those quizzes in those magazines. And like when I was hitting like the witch archetype, I was like, yes. um, it was always around the witch. I've always been fascinated with magic and witches and the darkness, the shadow of all of that. And it was always something that was very personal and very hidden in my life. But when you come to my house, you can see a little bit in the background. It's like the people that are really close to me know, they just know that I'm a witch, because there's altar everywhere. There's like um, sigils and rune painted on the wall. Um, there's like crystal everywhere. There's always a ritual in our family in every season. So we celebrate more of the pagan holidays. And so yeah, so the people, like I have so many tarot deck and oracle, like you can see a few there over there. So yeah, so it's always been something that is really important for me, but it was always hidden. But right now it is because it's time to reclaim those. It's time to be fully me. And so yeah, so I decided to reclaim the witch and I became the self-mastery witch. And so the self-mastery thing, it's very simple. It's just like in my perception, when we as human are able to master ourselves, then we can start creating our life in the most authentic way available for us at that moment. And then when we create from that authentic space, the world gets better and the ripple effect of our healing process is so great. So, yeah, so we need to clear all of our junk. It all starts with us, right? And so, okay, so the second coming out is coming out as a high achiever. Oh boy. Oh my God. So that was a surprise because on the outside, what you can see of me, it's someone that has dreadlocks and that, I don't know, embody like this slow living, unschooling, feminine energy, very focused on the freedom and a little hippie around the edges. So it was like, how can I freaking be a high achiever if I don't achieve anything. I'm just living a simple life, but inside I'm also a perfectionist. I put loads of pressure on myself all the time. I always need to be more, always need to be strong. I am deeply afraid of making the wrong choices. And I often limit myself because I'm afraid of being so vulnerable in front of people. And so, as I always say, one doesn't exclude the other. These are just two parts of me, and they're both true. I love unschooling, but I do it because I don't trust the educational system, and I would never put my kids in there because I would see that as putting my kids in danger. And so because I have high standard for humans. Yeah, so it's like I love the unschooling lifestyle because it gives us such freedom of creating our lives, and also like the school system just doesn't resonate with me. So yes, I eat very healthy and very specific food for my body. Again, high standard, my body, my temple, and I just don't want to create diseases in my body because I have this high standard of like humanity needs to be like on the next level. And yes, 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 I love the feminine energy. And it took me so much time to actually reconnect with it because I was very deep in the go do it and just do it all the time, which could be more associated with the masculine energy. And so it took me sometimes to actually reconnect with the feminine energy. And for me, it was like really when I got pregnant and discovered that I could be soft and nurturing also. But to be real, like there's also the dark feminine that's really appealing for me, and the feminine warrior and all of that. But again, it's about mastering, and it's about like giving our best and understanding who we are. And again, like the high achieving is coming back. And so I realized that the saboteur was so ingrained and was very, very afraid to be seen. Like it was dangerous for this part to have success. And I associate that also with the witch wound. So yeah, so that's why I'm coming back with this new project, come full cycle, you know. And it's truly like coming full circle for me. It's really doing like the full round and coming back to where I was at the beginning, but better. Yeah, so it's all about like working with our cycle. And by that, what I mean is like our daily cycle and our weekly cycles, our monthly cycle. We can work with the moon cycle, the season, our period when, like, as women, if we're bleeding, um, like there's so many cycles. We can see life in so many cycles, and mastering ourselves and achieving our successes without burning out and leaving parts of us behind, because that's going to leave us deeply unsatisfied. I would say that come full cycle more deeply is truly about falling deeply in love with all the versions of ourselves. So there you go. I'm super excited to come back with this podcast and with the new direction my business is taking. So if you have any questions or if you're resonating with anything that I said, please share. I cannot stress this enough. Like sharing your message and the interaction, that's what creates community. And sometimes we're shy or we are like doubting that our comments gonna mean something. But after all the people that I've met, there's always something in everyone's stories. There's always something that we can resonate with. So don't fear judgment, and go for it. Put yourself out there. I'll respond to you. I love interacting with people, and I'm 100% sure that what you have to say has value, has meaning, and is worth mentioning. So there you go. There, the first episode. Stay tuned. You can follow, subscribe. The podcast going to be available on Spotify, Apple Podcast. It's going to be available on YouTube. Okay, so I just remember that I didn't talk about the scheduling. So in Come Full Cycle, we're reclaiming the 13th moon. And so how I'm doing this is super simple, is that I'm publishing an interview on the full moon, which is putting like light over the darkness. And so the first full moon episode is going to be with Joe Garner, December 4th. And then after that, on the new moon, I'll publish a inward deep dive of something that came up for me in the episode that I recorded with a guest. So for now, these two are official, the two episodes that I'm gonna publish every moon cycle. Also, like sometimes when I feel like it, I might just come on like today and just like publish something on the waxing on the waning moon. Just following my intuition and really deeply connected with the moon. But you can expect for sure a full moon episode and a new moon episode, and sometimes one in between of those. So yeah, so stay tuned, subscribe. So okay, so I'm gonna leave you to this, and I'll talk to you really soon. And much love. And that brings us to the end of another cycle together. Thank you so much for carving out this sacred space to hang out with me. Every time you show up for yourself, you help this world get better, and that means a lot. I hope this episode sparked some insights for you. Maybe it triggered you, or maybe you got an aha moment. Whatever came up for you, don't keep it to yourself. Sharing those thoughts, those emotions, or insights is what brings community together. You'll be surprised to see how much people resonates with you. So I invite you to share your thoughts in the comment sections wherever you're listening, or you can also tag me on social media at Marigol Era. Until our next moment, remember that the ashes of your past are the fierce foundation for your next full cycle. It's time to ignite that next phase. I wish you all the best, and we'll see each other on the next episode.